One, we're live. Hey, listen. ¿Cómo estás? Okay? ¿Cómo estás? This is my little corner of the world. It's first thing in the morning, and I'm going to stop procrastinating on this. I'm here because one of the steps in recovery is if you could teach somebody, that's one way of learning it and it embedding into me and knowing that I've actually learned this and I'm accomplishing this. Excuse the mess. This is real life. Those are my water bottles. Um, and this is my little office. See that picture up there? I had that commissioned by a wonderful young man, Kevin. He used to work at Buffalo Wild Wings with me. And it's a reflection of the transition and also the past, present, and the future. If you can see the gates of heaven there, like that river, looks like hell on the bottom. Excuse me, nails, because I'm in the midst of learning how to do nails, so we got some popping off. But hair's kind of crusty in the midst of fixing the hair too. But we wanted to get today's party started, and this is who I am. I'm not here to try to impress you at all, to be honest. I love you, and I don't know, maybe you're somebody that I know, maybe you're not somebody that I don't know, but I want to say welcome. Este mensaje, esta channel es para usted, es para ayuda para la persona, un buen vida. Yo quiero una vida bueno con, um, con, not sin problemas, pero cuando problemas come, yo sabe hablar con estos problemas. So, when I do these sessions, I'm just going to be sharing with you some of the areas that I've learned in different packets that we've had takeaways. Today, we're focusing on the Big Mamacita. I'm not going to read it all to you. Let's see how much of it I read. But I do have channels where I do readings. Like I have Audible channel where you can download my books and I'm the narrator. If you like my voice, you can get that. This is one of the things that I have on my channel, the full thing. It's 32 pages. I'm going to try so that you guys can get it. We'll do it in sessions. So you can get this information for free and get this knowledge for free. And it's not going to be for free. I'm going to ask you to donate 50 cents, $1. I'm going to ask you to donate $1 for this class to my Cash App. Okay. Hashtag money sign happy time for me. Right there. Push that link. Donate $1 because this, and also your time watching this video also helps my channel. So if you don't have $1 and you don't have Cash App, it's okay. Don't trip. Got you, girl. Got you, boy. Anyways, you watching our channel and putting those minutes on our channels helps us too. So, it's not about the money, but I do know that it is a proven fact when you pay for something, you value it more. So put that out there. If you want to make that dollar donation, we could really appreciate it to pay the lights. Anyway, so we're going to get started today with our number one lesson and the big elephant in the room, hoarding. Hoarding. I've been called a hoarder. My daughter's father called me a hoarder, and it really hurted my feelings because I've seen the hoarder show, and I am not that bad. But I can see where this can go if we don't deal with this devil, right? So allowing you to be aware can help you shine the light on some honest pieces of your life that maybe you no longer want to have in your life and you want to clean up and live a more peaceful life. Let's just read you the facts of the studies. So it says here, hopefully everybody can hear me. If you can comment and let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm thinking you can hear me okay, hopefully. Testing. No, that's to mute it. But anyways, okay. So overview of hoarding. Hoarding is a complex disorder that consists of three interrelated problems. One, excessive acquisition. Two, difficulty discarding. Three, problems with organization. These problems can lead to significant amounts of clutter, which can severely inhibit the use of living space and poses safety and or health risk and results in significant distress and or in impairment in day-to-day functioning. Excessive acquisition. Excessive shopping is the most frequent kind of acquisition among people who hoard. 75% buy excessively. Roughly 50% of people who hoard report excessively collecting free things. Acquisitions can also occur passively, for instance, food wrapper or the packaging materials accompanying a new purchase. Difficulty discarding. The hallmark hoarder behavior is the inability to let go of possessions. Discarding, selling, giving away, or even recycling are extremely difficult for people who hoard. While on the while to an observer, the objects saved may seem worthless or worn out, in truth, people who hoard typically can't let go of anything. Woo! God bless me. No more. God bless me. Okay, sorry. The motives for saving, okay, while to an observer, the object saved may seem worthless or worn out, but in truth, people who hoard typically let go of anything and often have homes filled with otherwise useful items. People who hoard typically can't let go of anything and often have homes filled with otherwise useful items that are buried under the piles. The motives for saving are largely the same as motives people don't hoard have for saving things. The most frequent motive for saving objects is to prevent waste, followed by informational content, emotional attachment, and finally, aesthetic attractiveness. Some people who hoard believe that they can dispose of their possessions, but the process is so time consuming, they frequently abandon the abandon it altogether, leaving the clutter to grow. And clothes, newspaper, books, and most commonly hoarding items. But the list can include virtually anything. Disorganization. In addition to excessive, in addition to excessive acquisition and difficulty discarding, the most people with hoarding problems are unable to organize their possession. The organization problem may be associated with information processing difficulties, inattention, categorization, and decision making. Attempts to organizing usually result in hours of moving possessions from one place to another without any effective result. Tita, I know I tried. The disorganization results in piles of possessions throughout the home that consist of mixtures of worthless and valuable items, complicating attempts to declutter. Wow. Let me reread that sentence because I was like really just feeling it for myself. The disorganization results in piles of possessions throughout the home that consist of mixtures of worthless and valuable items. And it's complicating attempts to declutter. It does. Now, recognizing the problem, a lack of recognition of the seriousness of hoarding is common among people who hoard. You can also, if you want to read more on this, you can read from the Dante to DSM-V, a short story of panoma of hoarding that includes recent plans to include hoarding as a separate disorder from Dante to DSM-V, a short history of hoarding. Okay, so now they have a story they want me to read to you. I'll read it. It's part of the package. Excuse me. That's not your cup. Here, too, here too I saw a nation of lost souls, far more than were above. They they strained their chest against enormous weights with mad howls, rolled them at one another. Then in haste they rolled them back, one part shouting out, why do you hoard? And the other, why do you waste? Hoarding is squandering, wasted all their light. Hoarding and squandering wasted all their light and brought them screaming to this brawl and wrath. You need no words of mine to grasp their plight. That made no sense to me. But that was from Inferno by Dante Alighieri in J. Cardi, translator, in 1954, the Rutgers University Press, page 73 and 74. The earliest reference of hoarding occurred in Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy. So that little tidbit that I wrote was a piece from a comedy that Dante guy wrote, and he was not making fun, but it was the first thing that was written about hoarding. And that was then. And so an epic poem written early in the 14th century. Okay, I don't understand because it just said it was from 1954. So that is the 19th century. But 54 is not early 19th. Okay, anyways, I'm going off. In this poem, Dante, along with a guide, had to describe through all 9 circles of hell. Okay, before they could ascend through the purgatory and then to paradise. The first section of the poem, the Inferno, was Dante's account of their trip through hell. Each circle of hell contained assorted shades, ghosts suffering increasingly harsh punishments. As the pair entered the 4th circle of hell, they found 2 mobs at war, crashing against each other and enormous boulders they pushed with their chest. The armies formed a circle as Plutus, the Greek god of wealth, watched. They collapsed upon each other, crashing the stones against each other, only to retreat and taunt. Why do you hoard? While this opposite mob replied, why do you waste? Dante's guide explained that these were the hoarders and the wasters in life. The adventitious and prodigal, their lives were spent acquiring possessions and chasing wealth. But by doing so, they shielded themselves from God's light. Now they were forever doomed to this fate. Their possessions became heavy stones, and they crashed their eternity. Other references to hoarding have appeared in literature since then. Charles Dickens' character Crook in Bleak House in 1862 was described as possessed with documents in a shop where everything seems to be brought and nothing sold. Honor de Blusic character Cousin Pines in 1847 was a collector of bric-a-brac. Weston described Sherlock Holmes as having a horror of destroying documents, resulting in stacks of papers in every corner of the room. In 1842, Russian novel Dead Souls, written by Nikolai Gogol, A wealthy landowner named Pliskin displayed all the characteristics of a hoarding. The local peasant called him the fisherman of his habit of fishing the neighborhood for an old soul. A bit of a peasant woman's rag, iron nail, a piece of broken earthware. He collected them all in his cluttered manner. Not long after that, Pluskin became slang for in Russian for anyone collecting and discarding useless or broken objects. Pluskin syndrome is used in Russian psychiatry to refer to someone with hoarding disorder. In early 19th in the early 20th century, ownership and ownership and acquisitiveness received some attention for psychologists. William James described acquisitiveness as something instinct. These are really hard words, you guys. Instinctual. So like instinct, that word instinct, and then tool at the end. Instinctual. That it's like I've never spoken English before. That contributed to one's sense of identity. For James, one sense of self used me and mine. In the mid 20th century, Eric Form suggested that acquisition was one way for people to relate to the world around them and was core to one's character. In this in his theory, hoarding orientation was one of four types of dysfunctional character. This orientational compounded with fundamental orientation to extinct, having the destructive orientation of having, to adverse constructed with the more healthy being orientation at about the same time as from was writing about hoarding orientation. The New York City newspaper were filled with stories about the Collier brothers who died among the junk on their Harlem Brookstone. The Collier brothers not only affected the generation of New Yorkers who mothers admonished them to clean their room or end up like the unfortunate brothers. They also inspired several novels. Mauricia Davenport's by My Brother's Keeper, published in 1954, and in recent E.L. Doctoral Homer and Langley, it has been the stuff of theaters. And even now, among New York City firemen, a hoarded home is referred to as a Collier house. While Freud said little about hoarding of things, he did suggest that hoarding money next page developed a fixation at the at the anal stage of development and was more acceptable alternative to saving excrements. The hoarding of money reflected the predominantly dimension of the anal trad, which also included orderliness and obstructions. I don't know that word, okay? Other psychoanalysis expanded the definition of parsimony to include hoarding of objects in Jones 1912. The anal triad formed the backbone of what was an anal personality anal personality and became the bias for the diagnostic criteria for obsessive compulsive personality disorder in DSM-III. That's 3. More recent analytic theorists have focused an object to which people develop intense emotional attachment as a transitional object that serves as bridge in the development of independence. Hording appeared in the 1980s as one of 9 diagnostic criteria for obsessive compulsive personality disorder in DSM-3. As mentioned, it originated from psychoanalytic analytic psycho psychoanalytic theorizing about anal characters and was associated with the nation of hoarding on or saving fierces during toilet training. What? What did I just read? What? I don't know what that meant. I'm going to pause it here. I think I got this 20-minute session. That's okay. Since I've never read this before, I'm going to go ahead and just read it so I'm not reading it from the first time for you guys. I did read those 2 pages, but this page I've never read. I've only got up to page 2 in this packet, and that's why I'm reading it to you and trying to teach it to you too, so that I can learn it too, because like I said, once you learn something, the process of teaching it to somebody else, it embeds into you a little bit more. And so we're going to either learn it together, but I did read these 2 pages and I did read it to you. So hopefully you got something from this. We're going to circle back. We're going to put a pin in this conversation and we're going to bring a session to the back because that's a big one. Big words. Get your life. Love you. Bye.